I've said this enough times, but I'm gonna say it just once more. I loved this Superman movie. I had a blast going through the story, the characters, the surprising depth, and of course the sharp script. But I always make it a point to rewatch the movies that I love. A second viewing helps me zoom in on the stuff that is a little off. And yeah, there were things that bugged me. Some are critiques, some are just plot points that worked but left me with a lot more questions. So buckle in, because we're flying straight into it. I love movies, especially superhero movies. Not you. But loving something doesn't necessarily mean ignoring all its flaws. In fact, that's part of the joy being part of this community. The ideas, critiques, theories, Easter eggs, debates, it's just endless. Superhero movies are basically suspension of disbelief, but in turbo mode. Two quick things before we begin. Spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched the movie,
What the heck are you actually doing, man?
save this, go watch my trailer reaction, Superman preview, come fly with me to the theater, review part 1, but that also has some spoilers, so just be careful. Spoiler free reaction, all the links are in the description. Number 2, these are all my thoughts, so critiques, fan theories, Easter eggs, you might agree, you might disagree, and that's totally cool. Just don't be a Snyder bro, man, please. Now, I said before that the cast wasn't bloated. After the second viewing, I take that back. It is a little bloated. I like Crypto, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Eve, Malik Ali, the Jarhanpur kid. They're fine. But there's two characters that I really want to talk about. The first is Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced. Look, I'm still traumatized from Madam Web. I watched that movie in 3 sittings, and that's never happened to me with a superhero movie. And now, seeing her again, it's just these terrible flashbacks.
Where's my spider? It's took my spider.
Hawkgirl's a badass in the comics and the animated series, and in this movie, she's in the Justice Gang. Brilliant, fantastic. And it's probably just because they needed more than 2 members to actually have a gang in the first place. And she had a few very cool moments, but overall, she came off like a moody teenager, just side-eyeing all the oldies on the team. I believe she needed more screen time, and she needed a few more lines. And that would have made her feel earned and not just slotted in. Who knows? Maybe she'll get a show down the road. Peacemaker and Penguin honestly prove that TV shows are just so much better when it comes to deep diving into these characters. The second and my least favorite character in this movie was the engineer. And her power set is actually pretty cool, but her performance was just downright just look at Mr. Terrific. Genius, quirky, never once in the movie did it feel like he was overacting. And all that just made him even more badass with that don't care, just dare kind of an attitude. But the engineer, she needed more. She needed mystique, some sadism, and probably a bit of hurt. But instead, what we got was angry, bland, and sadly constipated. And I blame both the actor and the script. If handed a weak script, a good actor can actually uplift it, and vice versa. But Maria Gabriela De Faria, she just felt like a side character in a school play who's just going rogue for attention. And her backstory? I gave up my humanity to take down Superman. Why? What did he do to you? Absolutely zero explanation on that line. And outside of retrieving that Jor-El recording, I don't think she did much in the movie. Yeah, she did take a good beating from Crypto and a great beating from Gravity. They didn't kill her off in the movie. Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna miss her that much. So let's move on to the big one now, and that's the Jor-El recording. This was definitely James Gunn's boldest swing with Superman, and it split people. Now, I'm all up for bold changes if the narrative is airtight. So the first time when I saw that whole message, I was shocked, even appalled. But the more I thought about it, the more I came around with the idea. But still, I've got heaps of questions. Like, how is everyone, Lex Luthor, Mr. Terrific, the engineer, how is everyone so confident about the translation? Who even gave them the tech to actually translate Kryptonian language? And this is where I've got a theory. I think it's Brainiac. He's a 12th level intellect, absorbs knowledge, manipulates tech. Maybe he helped Lex create the engineer and help out with the translations. Yeah, there is a possibility that it may not be Brainiac, in which case it may be possible that there was a glitch in the engineer's operating system. Or just it was a terrible translation, like they picked up some metaphors or some slangs and just gave them a literal translation, and we all know how they suck.
Your love hookah bar.
And if none of my theories are actually true, and if Jor-El actually did say those ugly things, it really elevates Superman, because he just saw the first part of the message and he assumed the rest of the message to be in that good spirit and basically just chose his own path. And like Barkent said in the movie, and again I'm paraphrasing here, what you wanted it to mean says more about you than what it actually meant. And that is heavyweight, bro. While we're on the topic of tech, here is my next question. Clark's been Superman for 3 years. How does he already have sentient robots, a massage bed, and a solar recharge kit? Did Jor-El send him the tech? Did Mr. Terrific help him with the entire setup? Or did a company called Wayne Enterprises actually decide to just flush Superman with all these fittings? Okay, let me clarify. It's not a plot hole. It's just a detail that I'm really just dying to know, because I believe it would add a lot of texture to his backstory. But yeah, I'm not losing any sleep over it. Okay, so I've talked about Superman's tech stack, but we really need to talk about those techies over at LuthorCorp. Who are these employees? Why would they work at the most toxic company imaginable? And why are they so motivated to help Lex punch Superman through a clone using gaming controllers? And those accents, like some of them had really thick accents. Were they Peruvian? Like seriously, what's the deal? Foreign contractors, interns on visa? Again, not a deal breaker, just I'm really curious. Now, a big shout out to Troyoboyo17. This section is heavily inspired by his video. I love the guy. I love his videos. I'm going to pop his link in the description below. Make sure you check it out after you're done with this video. Now, James Gunn. At this point, I don't even need to tell you that I actually love the guy. He's bold, he's weird, he's edgy, and usually provocative. We've seen that especially with the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, and the Creature Commandos. But this movie has to be the safest James Gunn superhero movie ever. It's sunny, it's hopeful, it's clean. And maybe that's just because it had to be. There was seriously a lot that was riding on this movie's shoulders. Launching the DCU, restoring Superman, avoiding backlash, appealing to new audiences, and of course keeping the Snyder Bros at bay. So on all of those counts, this movie worked, and I loved it, and majority of the fans loved it, but I was waiting for that classic James Gunn curveball. Maybe next time, now that he's earned the trust. Here's another nitpick, the runtime. Officially, it is 2 hours and 8 minutes, but the first time I watched it, it felt more like an hour and 45 minutes. The movie literally just zips by. But on my second viewing, I was looking closely for those seam marks, and I genuinely felt like there was a lot of stuff that was missing, stuff that was trimmed out of this movie, and it's probably just lying on the editor's floor somewhere. Not just any scenes. These were the kind of scenes that could have really taken this movie to another level. I really got the impression that the original cut for this movie would be featuring more of the Justice Gang, more of Hawkgirl, more crypto, which by the way has been confirmed by James Gunn's Instagram, because he's been dropping those crypto reels every single day, and I really wanted those in the movie. I also felt like the original cut probably had a lot more from the robots, from Maxwell Lord, and a lot of footage from inside the Daily Planet. In my opinion, this felt like a 2.5-hour movie that was trimmed down to 2 hours and 8 minutes. And seriously, I would have happily watched those extra 30 minutes of footage, because I just loved the characters so much, and I had so much fun in this world that I just wanted to spend more time with all of them. Like I mentioned in my last video, that I was gonna give Golu a call and get his thoughts on this Superman movie, and he hated this Lex Luthor. He basically called him a mopey, overgrown child. But we both also agreed that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor was probably on a little something. You know what I mean?
A whale! Yes. Blah, blah, blah. True! Boys!
But here's the thing. Personally, I liked this version. I do agree that Holt probably overdid it here and there, but for a really long time, I've just loved villains who are just pure evil. They've got no tragic backstory, no sympathy bait, just pure absolute hatred. And this Lex, he's petty, he's jealous, he's egotistical, and he's unhinged. And in a world owned by Killmonger and Thanos, I really enjoyed this raw, irrational evil, especially in the second half. I mean, the dude was just seething with anger. And now this next one really bugged me like nothing else. And it's not on the actors, not on the director, and not on the producers. It's on the CBFC. They cut out multiple scenes from this movie in India, including the 2 kiss scenes between Superman and Lois Lane, and that one Guy Gardner scene where he flicks the finger. Just to be clear, CBFC's job is to certify, it's not to censor. Their job is more around age appropriateness rather than moral policing. And their hypocrisy is just outrageous. This thing just makes me so angry. Because while we were watching Superman in that theater, right next door in the next screen they were playing Houseful 5, where you've got actresses made to act like clueless props in skimpy clothes, sexually loaded jokes flying around like confetti, and a script so tone deaf it is probably a parody of itself, and not in a good way, but a good-hearted kiss. That is what crosses the line for CBFC. Seriously, give me a break, man. I've lost all respect for CBFC at this stage. I have been frustrated with the Indian censorship for years now, but this was just deplorable. And my issue is not only with what's shown, it's actually with the hypocrisy and the double standards. And seriously, it's irritating, it's infuriating, it feels unjust, and it's exhausting. Okay, now I'm going to throw a number here. 23. That's how many times you've heard me say, I loved this Superman. It checked every box. It reignited my love for the Boy Scout, restored my faith in that plain, good old-fashioned good versus evil storytelling. And I firmly believe that this film will age well, both as a standalone and as the foundation for TCU. I'm hyped, I'm hopeful, and yes, I want to be a punk rocker now. And that wraps up my TMB Supermania. I'm honestly seeing signs of theater burnout. My wallet is literally charred at this stage. And this blockbuster season's just been wild. And I'm really looking forward to just taking a week off after I'm done reviewing Fantastic Four. Which, by the way, the spoiler-free review is already out. You can probably check it out here. And I'm also going to pop the link for that in the description below. Stay tuned to my channel as I give out my Fantastic Four review later this week. And then, after a little break, I'll be back with more cinema, more pop culture, and maybe even try my hand at a couple of other languages. And if you like this video, share it with your friends, comment your theories, your Easter eggs, whatever you observed that I may have missed, and hit subscribe for my fantastic takes on the first family of Marvel next week. Until next time, this is the Millennial Bard signing off.